Hello, hello. How is everyone doing? I hope you are well. Merry Christmas. I'm filming this the day before Christmas. This has been a video that I have wanted to film for a while. I've been thinking about it for a couple of months and just haven't been able to sit myself down to do it. I've been sick, which, you may notice in my voice, and I just haven't been able to get past this cold. It's been lingering. I have a 1-year-old grandbaby that I've been spending some time with. He came to visit me for a bit. So, when you have a baby, you almost have no time or energy or space to do anything else. You're busy trying to make sure they stay out of stuff and stay safe, and you just enjoy them. So, and then I've been, work has been crazy. Usually, I don't know about anybody else, but usually work starts to wind down toward the end of the year, but that just hasn't been the case for me here lately. So all of those things have prevented me from sitting down and doing this video that's been on my mind. I have not really organized my thoughts, so I kind of feel like this is going to be a little bit of a jumbled mess potentially. I'm going to try my best because I'm winging it. I really wanted to do kind of like an outline and have myself together, and it just didn't happen. So sitting down, and I'm sitting on my floor because it's like so gray today. There's just no light, and I don't have one of those ring lights or whatever it is the kids have these days. I'm just sitting in front of my window, old school. Even though it is gray and rainy, I'm trying to get the best light that I can. So I don't know how many of you are faithful followers, but if you are, thank you for watching my videos and for liking and commenting. I have a bag page, Curvy and Chic. I started out on Instagram and I was kind of doing the whole outfit of the day thing, and then that kind of died. That was pre-pandemic, and I kind of lost interest in that. Long story there, won't get into it. And then this channel, I turned it into going to YouTube and starting to create bag content. And YouTube kind of entered my life at a strange time. I think it was a strange time for everybody. We all know that. So many of us turned to just different things that maybe we never turned to before. We didn't have really going on in our lives. We had other things happening, and then other things stopped happening. And so we had to find ways to connect and have creative outlets and just other interests. So that's when YouTube kind of came into my life. I started this page, and don't know how I fell into bag content. I've always loved bags, but I was never really, I don't think I ever saw myself as a collector, but somehow I fell into this space during this time, and I'm finding that maybe this space has ran its course for me. Starting to come into a new chapter where I feel like this is no longer relevant to who I am today and what the direction my life is going in. So I'll tell you what happens every year to me is every year around October, which is my birthday, I kind of just go through this phase where I start to take stock of my life and of the year that just happened. Like I basically do a self-assessment. And this year in October, I turned 45, and like every other year, and this has only been something that's been happening maybe the last, I don't know, I feel like this started when I turned 40. I started to do this like every year of my birthday. And I'm sure there's something there to unpack, midlife kind of vibes there. And yeah, it happened. It just keeps happening. And it happened. It was no different this year. I turned 45. And I just kind of do this thing where I'm not even realizing I'm doing it until I'm well into these thoughts of just looking at my life, looking at the past year, and asking myself, am I proud of what I've been doing? Am I happy with where I am? Are the things that I'm involved in still relevant? Are they bringing me joy? Are they moving my life forward? All those existential questions. Are they existential? I don't know. But all those life questions I start to ask myself in October. And this year, I really thought, I'm not so happy with the things I've been doing. They aren't as fulfilling as maybe they once were. and maybe they've ran their course. And I think that bag collecting and creating bag content had its moment in my life, and I think that moment is over. That's really the conclusion I'm coming to. And there's a few reasons why. And this is probably going to be a longer video. I'm probably going to be more chatty. I know some of you won't make it all the way to the end, but for those of you who do and feel like this resonates with you, I want to say thank you in advance. Some of this is just for me to get it off my chest and to just get it out of my brain, and maybe even close this bag chapter. I'm not sure if this page, where this page is going. I'm not sure if it's going to continue to be a thing that I do, if the content may shift. I don't know. I'm in this space where I'm just like, I don't know what's happening here. But I do feel like for some reason I owe it to myself and to anybody who's kind of stayed with me and watched my videos to kind of close the loop, to kind of close the chapter, to bring closure to, whatever it is I've been doing here. All right, and I have some notes. I have some notes that I've been taking. Okay, and I have some notes that I've, jotted down to myself over the past couple of months. I like to write things down. I like to get them out of my head and onto paper or onto my, devices. I've got my iPad here, and I just take notes to myself. So I'm going to be referencing them. That's why I'm looking down. But part of the thing I decided when I was kind of doing, this kind of self-check, self-assessment is I really have been longing for more intentional living. And that's a buzzword, buzz phrase. I know a lot of people say it, but it's something that really has been calling me, more intentional living. I actually started a joy journal specifically to write down things that I find truly bring me joy, because it's very easy to get caught up in the latest, newest toys out there for us, right? Whether it's bags, whether it's what makeup, whatever are our adult toys. And right now they are putting out something new all the time to constantly have our attention. And I think what I've noticed is that you buy something, and before you even get a chance to enjoy that thing, you are looking for the next thing. You're always chasing the next thing, the next newest thing, the next trend, the next bag, the next makeup palette, the next lippy, whatever it may be. And you're not even really taking time. This is what I found for myself. I'm not even really taking time to understand or to connect with the things I've already acquired, and whether or not is this thing bringing me any joy? Am I enjoying it? And that's one of the things that I've noticed with bags is I was so quick to just chase after the next bag that I never even got a chance to really enjoy the bags that I already owned. And I don't like that. That makes me disappointed in myself. So I think over the summer, I started to kind of just jot down things that I found that brought me joy, especially things that don't cost a lot of money. And just for an example, I don't have my joy journal with me, but this is going to seem really cheesy. But there are these bunnies that live in my backyard, and they're probably about, every summer they change. This summer there were like 4 of them, and they're just these wild white-tailed bunnies. I don't know what their real name is, but I loved bunnies as a kid, and I find that just watching bunnies run around really brings me joy. I get so excited when these bunnies come out, and my husband laughs at me because he's like, oh my gosh, you're just like a kid. And I am. And I wrote that down in my joy journal because watching these wild bunnies in my backyard is free. And it really does make me happy. It gives me the warm fuzzies. And I want to connect with that. I want to connect with things that I really like. Sometimes those things are free. Sometimes they're experiences that maybe do or don't cost money. Sometimes they could be a movie, or there are certain bags that I really enjoy using, but I really want to connect with what those things are and stop just chasing the next new thing. I think it's really important to be really connected with yourself and the things that are bringing you fulfillment and happiness, and enjoyment, so that you don't waste time or money doing things that don't fill your cup. And I feel like this whole year I've been hanging on to buying bags and bag collecting, even though it really hasn't been all that fulfilling. And I'll tell you what really got my attention is it probably wasn't my last video, but one of my last videos is about the mini bum bag. This was a bag from Louis Vuitton. This was a bag that I did not want. I did not want this bag, and yet I ended up buying it anyway. And it really doesn't matter how or why I bought the bag. What matters is that I bought something that I really didn't want, really just out of habit. And that's an autopilot I don't want to be on. I don't want to be just in the habit of doing something that actually doesn't serve me. And now I have this mini bum bag that I really didn't necessarily want, fell into a trap of buying just out of habit, really, and being caught up in, I don't know, what is it that's released when we when we shop? It's the retail therapy and the chemicals that are released that make us excited, but it's temporary. It's a temporary excitement. I was caught up in that and bought this bag that I didn't need, didn't really want, and obviously can't return now because I didn't really slow down enough to really make eye contact with the fact that I didn't really even want this bag and had bought it really out of just the habit of buying bags. And that's problematic because these luxury bags, they are a hassle to sell. They bring a lot of anxiety, at least to me. They're a hassle to sell. They bring anxiety to sell. They're hard to sell for different reasons. And it's just a burden I don't need in my life, is trying to sell luxury bags. And that comes with the territory of bag collecting. Because when you're tired of something and it's long past the time to return it, or you realize you don't love it, you realize it doesn't really fit who you are or fit how you operate, you have to figure out how to sell it. And either you're going to sell it as an individual to an individual, or you're going to sell it to a resale company. And you might take a loss. You might gain money, but I don't want to buy bags just to make money. That's not what I'm doing here. You might get scammed. There's just all that stuff that comes with it that I really just don't want to deal with. It's not how I want to spend my time, my energy. And so it's just another reason that I know this bag collecting is no longer for me. Another reason I know that this is kind of over for me is I have too many bags. It's just that simple. I have too many bags, and I do not have enough space to store them. Not only do I not have enough space to store them, I truly do not want to put my life's energy into figuring out how to keep them safe, to care for these bags that cost a significant amount of money. And now I have to put energy into making sure they don't get damaged. And the more that I own, the more effort and energy I have to put into making sure they are taken care of. And I just realized I don't want to do that with my time. And now I have regrets. Right now I'm living with regret because I have so many bags and they aren't cheap, and I do need to take care of them. I am going to have to figure out, if I keep them and I don't feel like selling them, how am I going to store them so that they don't get damaged and become worthless? Or how am I going to take the time and energy to sell them, which in today's economy is, again, not easy. There's a lot of reasons why it's difficult to sell these luxury handbags. The biggest one for me is I don't feel like it. I don't want to do it. So, it's just, again, become a burden that I don't want to deal with. The secondary issue with too many bags is I can't use them all. I mean, and that's the thing about, they talk about aspirational shopping when you shop for a life really that you don't have, or you buy things for a life that you don't have. I don't have a busy street life. I am not in the streets a lot. I hibernate in the winter. I'm really just a homebody almost all winter. I come alive in the spring. Um, and I used to do a lot of traveling. I feel like things came to a halt and they haven't really reinstated themselves, but I'm trying to get back to a place where I reinstate and reprioritize travel and experiences over things, because that's, I feel like, who I was before. And then we had this girl interrupted, right? Life interrupted for everybody. And now it's like trying to rediscover yourself and figure out who you are post pandemic. And I am trying to just get back to some of the things that I did really enjoy before the interruption. And traveling is one of those things, but life has changed a bit. I still work from home, and I do a lot more ordering into the house now than I did before. I wasn't one who ordered my groceries, but sometimes I still do because I really just don't like going to the grocery store. And now that I got sick recently, and I got sick over Thanksgiving, and it's still with me, and it's about to be Christmas. And this isn't some like lightweight, easygoing illness. I've been jacked up. So I have like a little bit of a anxiety about being in crowds again. So I've been doing some ordering online, even my groceries, which is not really me, but again, adapting to what life really is. I just am not out and about enough to use all the bags that I've bought. I don't know about other people, but I'm like, I don't want to just own bags that just sit on a shelf, you know what I mean, that I just have. I don't want to own bags that I just have for the video to show, people on video. That's also not me. And again, getting in touch with who you really are, what really fulfills you, what really makes you happy, what makes you proud, who you really want to be in life. Those are the things that help you decide what is and isn't serving you in your current behaviors and in your current spending practices and your current habits. And only you can change those. It's me. I'm the problem, and I'm the one who has to make these changes. And so it's what I want to do. Now, what I've already bought, I'm trying to stop beating myself up about, because it's already bought. The money is already spent and I already own it. And now it's just a matter of, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to keep it and try to rotate and use it? Maybe, do some videos that talk about uses a year later or wear and tear. I don't know if that's what I really want to do. These are the decisions I have to make, but I've got to face where life is right now and just move forward and make better choices with my time and money. Speaking of money, I do feel like, oh, I can't stand talking about money. And I always feel weird. But bag buying for me is just not sustainable financially. It's just not, especially if there's other things I want to do that cost money. Because for me, money is, I don't have an infinite bank account. And I know that there are people obviously who do. We've got the rich that can just buy, and they've got the space and they've got the time and energy, and maybe they can pay people to deal with it, whatever. But that's not me. So I have to deal with who I am. And the truth is, I want to do other things with my money. And so if I say yes to a bag, I'm saying no to something else that I want to maybe do in the future. And sometimes I do look at bags like that. I'll look at a bag and say, the mini bum bag, for instance. Let's say it was $2,000. I can't remember. But that's $2,000 that could have went to something else, that because I bought that thing, which I really didn't even really want, there's something else that I'm either not going to do or something that I have to put off doing and do later. And when I think about that, it's like, yeah, I need to start saying no to the things I don't really want, and yes to the things that I do. And that's what I want to do moving forward. So yeah, again, I just think that it's not financially sustainable for me. I know that, there, you can of course buy one in, one out. So you can buy a bag and sell a bag and then use that money to buy a bag. And that's a problem for me because I don't like to sell bags. So again, this is just my situation. Some people have no problems. They found their avenue to sell and they're able to do it on a rotation. And they're just like, yep, I sold that one and I bought that one. And I think that's great. And if I was that person, then maybe I would be on a roll here. But I've got to know me and be honest about who I am to myself. I don't like the anxiety and the rigmarole of selling. So that's not an avenue that I can take. So in a nutshell, I think that that's where I'm at, still figuring things out, but definitely pretty confident that I have figured out that my bag journey has come to an end. That doesn't mean I'll never buy a bag another day in my life. There is still a couple of bags that I never did get my hands on that I still would like. But at this cadence, at this frequency that I was buying bags, that's over. I still want the Chanel walk. I've wanted that for a long time. I kind of have this like fantasy that I can go to Paris and get it, or I can go wherever and get it. And maybe I will, and maybe I won't. It's not a priority in my mind. It's just kind of like, that's something I'd like to get myself. It doesn't have to be for a special occasion. If I have the opportunity to buy it and I still want it, I will. But I'm not going to be just getting bags just to get them anymore. So yeah, that is where I'm at with that. And I think I'm there with just about I don't want to get on a soapbox. I talked about I want to live a more intentional life. I want to live a more clutter-free life. Stuff takes energy. Sometimes stuff I feel like owns us because, and I don't mean just bags. I mean, just all the stuff that we acquire throughout life. My house I feel like sometimes my house owns me because I have to keep it clean. I have to keep maintenance. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to do all these things. I've been after my husband to get a smaller house. I want a smaller house because I want more freedom in my life and less responsibility to these things that aren't fulfilling. It doesn't fulfill me to clean my house. I know I have to clean my house and I do it. And I enjoy cleaning to an extent, but I don't know, maybe because I'm getting older, maybe because I am hitting midlife and I've lived, almost half my life. That means I have only half of my life left, right? You look at things differently. And I really want to change some of my habits. I really want to kind of downsize some of these responsibilities that take up my time and energy so that I have more time and energy to do the things that I love and that are fun so that I can get to the end of my life and have very little to no regrets. I won't get to the end of my life and be happy about cleaning and vacuuming and washing dishes and yada, yada. I want to know that I've lived. So I need to, change some of my habits, my purchasing habits. I will buy things before I need them. I don't know. I've got tons of lipsticks. I've got tons of mascara. And I get caught up in like the newest thing that's being presented. And it's like, ooh, I want to try that. And I want to try that. And I want to try that. I want to stop that. I want to use what I have. I want to enjoy what I have. I want to slow down my spending. I want to slow down my life in a sense. And I really want to find the things that make me happy, make me, fulfilled, bring me joy, serve others. And yeah, so that's where I'm at, guys. I know this is probably a longer video. I had no bags to show. If you are interested in seeing some newer reviews on things that I've bought, let me know. Maybe I can, I don't know, think about doing that because again, I don't know where this channel is going. Honestly, you guys, I started to think about how could I change this channel into more about growing older and the stages of menopause because I have been struggling to find things that are menopause related, and it has frustrated me, and it has made me angry that menopause is kind of like this open secret. And I want to bust that thing wide open, perimenopause, just all the things that I'm learning. Am I going to do that? I don't know, but it's something that's been on my mind. Is there an audience for it? I don't know, but I've just been thinking about, if I keep this channel, what am I going to do on it? So I don't know, you guys. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching, and drop me a comment if this resonated with you. Let me know. All right. Bye.